Hello everyone, Sir VG here. A couple days ago on stream, I was trying to understand how and why a particular shortcut in Chapter 8.2 worked. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, the spot I'm talking about specifically is the one you see on the screen right before you. It's to cross this gap right here. Now, it's too big to double jump. So you have to use a technique to get across. Unless you want to take the long way around, which to show you in perspective, this is the area. The particular gap we're looking at is right where my cursor is. Otherwise, normally I have to climb up the stairs and work my way all around here to get to this door, which in this picture is kind of off in the corner here. Now, it takes quite a while to get around, obviously. So why take what would probably be a 2-minute walk around when I can just cross this gap here? Now, it uses a technique which I refer to in my old run as a slope roll technique. I think it's a little bit of a misnomer just because it doesn't work on all slopes, because it only works on slopes going down, and this is an edge. This is not even a slope. So I think honestly referring to it as an edge roll technique or an edge rolling technique would probably be a little bit better descriptive. For those of you who are wondering, this is not a glitch. This is a developer intended mechanic. And for those of you that don't believe me, there's actually a clip of them doing it in the game opening demo, which I recorded. It's very quick, but it uses the same technique crossing a bridge in Chapter 2. And let me just play the clip here. It's quick, isn't it? So there's the bridge. Big, enormous gap here. I mean, you can't jump across there. So, roll, fly, jump, and cross. The thing is very quick, but it just tells you right there, this is a developer intended technique, not a glitch. So let's take this information and we're going to look through the spot in Chapter 8. Now, I did a bunch of recordings and I picked out 3 spots that I perfectly make the jump and 3 spots where I don't. And we're going to kind of dissect them. Turn up the brightness here a little bit because this area is a little dark. So, some of them don't quite run at the full 30 frames per second. So I'll call it full speed, even if it doesn't. And then we'll step through it frame by frame. So this is the first one. Boom, jump, jump, cross. So that's the first one. Let's take this frame by frame here for a second. Because there's 2 key factors in whether or not you're going to be able to do this correctly. The first is positioning, and the second is the angle to the edge. So this is the frame where I'm hitting the L1 and X buttons, which is what executes the roll. And the first frame of the roll, fly off, jump, jump. Boom. Step back here. So let's take a look at Keldy's position. As you can kind of see here, here is the edge of the platform that I'm standing on. And there's a couple of lines in the tile. So Kelly's position is in between the 2 lines, but kind of near the back. As you can kind of see his feet right where my cursor is. and his angle is going perpendicular to the edge. That allows him to get that massive amount of propulsion. Boom! So let's take a look at a second clip here. Pull this up. Okay, let's run this at full speed. And within a couple of seconds, I'm across. So let's take a look at this one. This one's quick. I mean, there's not even a change in the sword animation. But there's obviously the first frame of the roll, so we step back. My position this time is a little bit further back. As you can kind of see by the shadows, I'm more towards the back, almost pretty much right on top of the second line here. But my direction is still pretty perpendicular to the edge. And fly, jump, jump, and over. Very quick. I got one more of the good techniques. And run. Now this one goes at a full 30 frames, so you'll see how fast this is. Doom, doom, boom. Full speed within a couple seconds. And we'll step through this frame by frame. There's the first frame. Right there. And roll. So as you can see, he is again in between the two lines. He's probably about halfway. Trying to judge by the rough spot of his shadow and his feet there. But again, going perpendicular to the edge. Boom, boom, over. So now we've seen some examples of him doing it correctly. Let's take a look at some examples and let's dissect what is going wrong, so we know how to do this correctly. So here's the first clip. Okay, and as you see, I just fall into the floor here. So let's take a look at this. Roll up, and there's the first frame of the roll. So we're going to step back a frame here, and we see that its position is good. I mean, as you can kind of tell, you get a bit of propulsion here. But we don't get a double jump. And I think this stems from the fact that I'm coming off at a pretty sharp angle. If I was going perpendicular, I'd be aiming this way. I mean, I'm getting probably 30 degrees off the mark. That's a pretty sharp angle off. I may have made, if I gotten the double jump, maybe I would have got the edge here. But all in all, the positioning was good, the angle was bad. So that's why this particular one failed. So I'm going to pull up another one here. Okay, run this full speed. Not anywhere near as much propulsion, and definitely no double jump. So let's take a look at why on this one. Step forward, and there's the roll. So we step back, and let's take a look at his position. Here's the edge, and here's that first line. He is way up there, very close to the edge. And while he gets some propulsion, it's nowhere near as much as you saw in the good takes. And still no double jump. So angle was good. I mean, I was going straight off. But with being so close to the edge, that's probably why this particular instance failed. We got one more bad take here. Let's run this at full speed. And thud, straight off the edge. Like, just a complete drop off. So what happened here? Walk, 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 walk. And roll. Again, the positioning is too far front, and the propulsion is not able to work correctly, and thus straight off the edge. How much of a time difference is it between an approximate good, if this was good, considering the angle, and where I actually do the roll? Right now, I'm at 1.1 seconds. If I step back, right there, that's 3 frames, or 1/10 of a second. That's pretty tight, considering this is going at 30 frames a second. So, that's the difference between making it and not. Just a few frames. Now, there's definitely some give. I mean, as you saw in the good takes, there was ones where I was a little further back and a little farther forward. But you probably have a 3, maybe 4 frame window. So it is a pretty tough thing to pull off, considering you're having to hit 2 buttons on the complete opposite side of the controller while running an analog stick. It's not particularly easy, but it's definitely not impossible. But this is the difference between this and all of this. Now, for the Sharp Eagle Eye viewers, you may be wondering, oh, hey, there's a green line here, and there's a blue line here. Why don't I take one of those 2 paths? They lead to a bunch of other rooms that take a lot more time to clear than even just walking through this way, and I'm already in the section that eventually these would wind to in like 2 or 3 more rooms. So that's why I need to take the path. That's why I need to hit the edge roll technique, because speed. So I hope this offers a good explanation and kind of gets into a bit about how to actually perform the technique for those of you who are doing casual play or speedrun. Now, remember, this doesn't just work on edges. It works on slopes that are going down. So for those of you who watch my speedruns, like in a very prominent one would be Chapter 1, which is the second segment of the run. You'll see me use that a lot. That's a good place to practice because there's a lot of angles that are very easy to pull off, and if you miss it, it's not that big of a deal. So thank you for checking out this explanation video on the edge roll technique. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, be sure to check me out on stream at twitch.tv/sir_VG. And until next time, thanks for watching. Have a good Christmas, everyone.